Not bad. Not bad at all. Hello, world. What is up? Welcome to Build. I'm your host, Matt Forte. We are here live at the Build Studio in New York City. Our next guest's film is based on the inspirational true story of one mother's unfaltering love in the face of impossible odds. Adapted from Joyce Smith's own book, Breakthrough is an enthralling reminder that faith and love can create a mountain of hope and sometimes even a miracle. I'm getting choked up. Here to talk to me all about the film, our producer, DeVon Franklin, director, Roxann Dawson, and star, Chrissy Metz. How you guys feel about that? You guys excited? I'm excited. You are correct to woo in such fashion. We're gonna, there you go. We're gonna bring them out in just a second. But before we do, I believe we have a trailer for the film. So let's go ahead, run that clip.
Rise and shine. Breakfast is ready in 10 minutes. And don't make me come back up there. This is our town. It's a close-knit community, the kind of place where everyone knows everyone.
Hi, Miss J.
Hey, how are you girls? And we're always there for each other.
Nice sermon, Pastor.
What do you guys have on for the rest of the day?
Well, John has a basketball game.
Yeah, I've seen this guy hoop it up around here. This kid is so lit.
Text your mom tomorrow and tell her when and where to pick you up.
And, don't do anything stupid.
Love you guys.
Boys, get off the ice!
We're training for the Olympics, sir.
Cindy.
He's been underwater for more than 15 minutes. It's gonna be a recovery, not a rescue. I got something.
We got him!
We've done everything medically possible. There's nothing more we can do.
No. Please, God, send your Holy Spirit to save my son.
A 14-year-old St. Charles boy who spent 15 minutes trapped underwater is continuing to fight for his life.
I don't believe John will survive the night.
You don't know my son. He is a fighter. So I need you to be the best for John, and you just let God do the rest. You are my pride and joy. I can't wait to see you shoot those baskets and run up and down the court again.
The Smith family asked for one thing. Please pray for John.
In the water that day, I was ready to give up, but then I hear this voice telling me, go back. Either I'm nuts,
Or God's talking to you.
but I don't believe in God.
I believe, but maybe that only goes so far with something like this.
I'm your pastor. I'm supposed to walk alongside you for as long as it takes.
Did you see the Facebook page? It's gone viral.
Tommy,
I hope he's gonna be okay.
we're not gonna get through this alone. Whatever you have for me, for Brian, for John, I surrender.
You better make a ridiculous amount of noise. We got the great Chrissy Metz, Roxann Dawson, and DeVon Franklin right here, everybody. Come on. All three of you, congratulations on a wonderful film, and thank you so much for being here. How's everybody doing right now? You having a good day so far?
Great.
Yeah.
It's been a great day.
Yeah, it's been great. You know, out here talking about the movie.
That's right. You're out talking about the movie. It's very exciting. Chrissy, you've done, being on this just for a little bit and being in the business, you've done a lot of press stuff going out, talking about the movie. Are you guys comfortable with this part of the process? A lot of people, there's no training for this part of the process. To go out and do this over and over again, answer all the questions, talk about the film. You doing all right with it? You feeling good?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I am a chatty Cathy.
Yeah,
So
I know.
I do like to chat. Well,
That's true.
You know
Yeah,
that.
well, we know.
And yeah, I just think it's wonderful to connect, on a very personal level. I think it's really important.
That's good. Well, when you got a great film to talk about, it's a little bit easier to
That
get
does
out there
help.
and do it. Yeah. Right, because we're going to get into the depths on this one, but before we do, you just had an incredible weekend. First ever live television performance at the ACMs. We're going to applaud. Crushed it.
Thank you. It's very kind. Thank you. Thanks.
People are going nuts. It was a moment in time. I can only fathom what it was like through your lens, through your eyes. This is something you've wanted your whole life.
Yeah.
What was going on in your head?
All sorts of things, folks. You can't really prepare for live television. You just have to sort of do it. But it was wonderful, and I really tried to just stay present in the moment so I could enjoy it, as opposed to. Oh, I did have a bit of an out of body experience. I was like, we're done, you know. But it was so wonderful, and I was like, you know, I'm a fan of all these women who I got to share the stage with, and so I was enjoying it. I was like, okay, we're here. This is amazing. So it was on so many levels really, really wonderful.
Were any of them offering up advice or words of encouragement before it went down, or just
all of the ladies were, you know, like, Chrissy, don't you worry, you got this. Carrie said, make us look stupid, which I thought was so kind, and I'm like, okay, Carrie Underwood, okay, but just really supportive, and especially in the country community, there's something, I don't know, it's very warm and inviting. And Hillary Scott, who from Lady Antebellum, she says, welcome to the community, and I was like, what? You know, everybody was they could not have been more loving and gracious. So, yeah.
That's a beautiful thing to hear. You know, well, speaking about firsts, Roxann, with all the amazing work you've done on television and you directed before, what was it about Breakthrough that stuck out to you that this was going to be a great opportunity for you to have your first feature film directorial project?
You know, I wasn't looking at it really as an opportunity, more that the story just, I mean, as a career opportunity, but more just as a story that just completely floored me when I read it, and I just wanted to do it. You know, it's just, it's an amazing story. Yeah.
It certainly is. And DeVon, to that end, I think I read somewhere that you met the Smith family. Maybe I'm wrong. Keep me honest. You were doing press for one of your last films, and you had first encountered them? Miracles from Heaven. Yeah. So talk to me about that. What was that like? What did you think when you first saw this story?
You know, I saw them. We were on a program on TBN, and so we were backstage initially. And so I thought it was interesting. I was like, okay, here's Joyce. Here's, you know, this kind of teenage Latino boy, and then here's Pastor Jason. I'm like, this is an interesting, I wonder what their story is. That's what I was wondering. So they go on, and I'm backstage, and then Joyce starts telling the story of how she prayed John back to life after he died falling through a frozen lake. And I said, okay, this is really strange. I'm here promoting another miraculous true story, and here they are telling their miraculous true story. So as soon as the program was over and I did my segment, they were still there, and I went to them immediately and said, you know, I think I'm supposed to help you tell your story. And they were very interested and open, and so I helped them get a book deal and help set up the movie. And from the day I heard it to today, it still resonates with me. I mean, I think what she did was so powerful, and then how the community rallied around them and the family and contributed so much to his healing. So it was amazing to find it then, and I think so many people are getting ready to find it now when the movie comes out.
And for both of you, what was your level? Was that the first time you encountered Joyce's story when you were approached for this project? Had you heard of it on the news or in passing or anything like that? Or was this your first exposure to this remarkable tale?
I heard about it from the news, you know, years prior. And it's one of those things that you're like, what? This isn't real. And you want to like pry into because you're like, hold on.
Right. How did that happen?
But yeah, I knew about it from the news.
Yeah, I did not know about it. Yeah, it just blew me away. In fact, I actually didn't believe it at first, so I got online and I went, "Oh my gosh!" Yeah, well, come on. I mean, really, if you made it up, you wouldn't believe it.
That's right.
I mean, it's
That's
so
right.
true. And I went online and I saw some of the interviews, and I just saw the family there. And when I went into you the very first time, and when we met, because, you know, you can hear about a story on the 11 o'clock news and you go, like you said, wow, that's kind of cool, and then you go on with your life. But what makes this a story that has to be told? And I think what we decided was that the miracle was only the beginning of the story. It's really how it affects everybody, and you watch everybody change as a result of this. So Praying Back to Life, that was where the movie began, really, and the story began.
You could argue that the miracle itself isn't necessarily the praying back to life as much as it is the lasting effects that all of these people have experienced because of it. It's much larger than one moment in time or one individual act. It's the way this entire community of people have grown.
And they're still being affected. We were just there a couple of weeks ago, and did we not see Tommy Shine and John? I mean, everybody's still being affected by this event.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the things that struck me beyond just the miracle was John. You know, being adopted from Guatemala at 6 months old, being raised in a predominantly white environment, he always struggled with his identity and why he wasn't wanted and why his skin color was different. And what blew me away, the real reason why I wanted to do the movie was they sent me a clip. In the movie, we portray the first responder scene. where all of the firefighters and all the EMTs were there to help save John. Pastor Jason sent me that real clip, and I watched it, and it brought me to tears when John started talking about what the event meant to him and how going through this tragedy and learning, coming out of it, that it was the prayers of his mother, the community, the love. He said, okay, now I know I have a purpose, that I'm valued, that I'm valuable. And it was amazing to me that here's a kid that struggled with identity, went through this and came on the other side of it and realized that he had a purpose. And that just spoke to me. And I was like, man, this is why we have to do it. To your point, it's bigger than a miracle. It's bigger than just someone getting their prayers answered. It's about finding our place in life. And I think that's a real breakthrough, and we can discover that.
I really was talking about these real people, this real story. Chrissy, did you feel not hesitation, but pressure or nervousness about portraying a real person, someone who's still out there in the world living their life, who's going to see this movie and see you being them? Like, what did you think about all that when you came on board?
Sure, I read the script and I was like, oh, I don't know, guys. Can I do this? And will she and will the Smith family in its entirety be proud of it? As we said, that we're actors, but this is their life, and this is going to go down in history, and so you want to get it right. And I think that they've approved. Which is so nice.
They think she did a brilliant job. Brilliant.
Because she did, yeah.
Everyone
did, yes.
Everyone did, honestly. Everyone did, and I did it day in and day out, and it was, pretty special.
Did you at all sit down and talk to Joyce? Did you guys have conversations and to kind of understand her perspective more, so that way you can make sure you were honoring her story and honoring her truth? Or was it easier for you to just sort of read whatever materials you have and kind of bring life to the role? How'd you go into it?
Yeah, so interestingly enough, we met 2 weeks already into shooting the film. Yes, and I thought, oh no, what if she does something I didn't get it right? And but it was always about capturing her essence and not doing an imitation, so to speak. And I just knew that I had to honor the story by being present and authentic and honest, because she is absolutely honest in everything that she does. So that was what was important to me when preparing with my acting coach, John Kirby. And I was just like, okay, if I can get that. And there was so much on the page that I honored Grant and, our screenwriter, and just said what was on the page.
That's interesting. They came by, so 2 weeks into shooting. So what was their level of involvement with the project? After you guys had, DeVon, after you kind of hashed out, we're gonna tell this story, how much did they want to be a part of the process of telling the story?
They were a part of it every step of the way. I mean, they had a lot of trust. They really trusted me, initially, and then once we brought Roxann on board, they trusted her, and then when Chrissy came on board, they trusted her. So from the beginning, they gave insight on the script. They had, a few notes. They came to set. We showed them a cut of the film. So they were involved and we were talking all the time. I mean, I would talk to them. Roxann would talk to them. I think Joyce even reached out, via Instagram or Facebook.
Yeah, we chatted a bit on the social media.
Yeah, I mean, she's big on, she loves Facebook.
Yeah, she knows.
Joyce is a Facebook queen.
Yeah, she knows.
So, yes, they were incredibly involved every step of the way.
That's why when we got the script, it was like, it's there already.
Oh, yeah.
Roxann, what kind of conversations can you recall that you guys would talk through and things you would have? And how is that different for you procedurally from your work on television? Here we have the real life subjects coming in and kind of helping you figure out how to best tell this story. What was your experience like with that?
Well, it was so great to have access to them, and I spent an entire weekend with them before we even began scouting locations. I was visiting the hospital, I visited the lake, I stayed at their home, I had lunch with them, and really soaked in the environment, met the first responders, because I wanted to make sure that we were going to get it right. It was very, very important. And that weekend made all the difference. And then following that, they were at my fingertips on my cell phone anytime. I would text John. I go, what kind of music were you listening to, like, on that day? Like, what were you listening to? They were just always there to give us feedback and also to help us get it right. I think that's what we all wanted to do, was just get it right. it's a true story, you know.
Was that weekend challenging for them to find all these spots to kind of recreate? Yes, here we are, they're on the other side, and we can see the beautiful stuff that's come from it. But in those moments, it must have been a really a traumatic experience of knowing, you know, my son's here, my son's there. And now you're asking her to go through. Does this look like the spot where he fell through into the ice and stuff like that? Were they good with that sort of
It was
stuff?
really interesting. They each had varied responses. I think Joyce was just, you know, sort of like the guide, and sort of, now this is where this happened, and this is where this happened. But she got emotional when she said, that's the hallway that I walked down to go see him. And the door was like right there, you know, and that affected me quite a bit. Also, when we went to the lake, it's interesting, at that time, John still hadn't quite, I think, absorbed or digested everything that was going on with him. And while I spoke with the first responders and we were standing at the edge of the lake where this occurred, he went off on his own and had his earphones in, you know, and didn't want to hang there with us. He's kind of a different person now as he's gotten used to this, and also understanding the importance of his story. And I think he's really found his place. But yes, they each went through different things. Brian also spending time with him. I think he was still even a bit reluctant in wanting to relive some of these experiences. So it was fascinating.
It was a journey.
Yes,
sure.
a journey.
Yeah. You know, we've mentioned the first responders a couple of times, and that calls to mind Mike Colter, who plays one of the first responders, and just with amazing actors and actresses that are in this film. Talk a little bit about working opposite Topher Grace and getting Topher involved in the project and entirely. Like, that must have been a lot of fun to work with him.
Yeah, a lot of fun, you know? I mean, he plays this character so brilliantly. I couldn't imagine anyone else being Pastor Jason. And it was a lot of fun because, you know, he's a comedian. He's a funny guy. And so he really, I think, captured that side of Jason. And, you know, Mike, come on. I mean, and also because of the character, Tommy Shine, who he plays, it was just such an important character in the story. And, you know, of course, still is even after the incident. So, yeah, I mean, it was fantastic. It was really great.
Was it, how did the film line up for you, Kate? I just called you Kate.
It's okay. People do it all the time.
I can't believe I just did that. Can you believe
Chrissy,
I just...
it's
oh,
okay.
My God.
It's okay. It's okay. That's okay.
Oh, well, in my defense, the question I'm about to ask is This Is Us related.
See? You were just
That's
ahead
why
of
those
yourself.
wires got crossed.
That's okay.
We're live.
Perfect.
So here's the deal. Here's what I wanted to know because Kate, who you are not.
Yes.
That's someone you play.
Right.
So Kate is kind of at a point in her arc where, well, for the most part, where we see her kind of becoming a mother.
Yeah.
Here we have Joyce, who's almost like a seasoned veteran of being a mother. She's so good at being a mom. When you come across, she's making the breakfast, she's making sure everybody's eating, she's taking care of all the kids. Was it fun for you to kind of get to play both sides of those spectrum, to play a brand new mom, play a mom that's in her element? Like, what's that like going between those two worlds and bouncing back and forth?
What's super interesting is prior to the movie, this is when, and spoiler alert, if anybody's not up to date, Kate has a miscarriage. And so she wasn't even a mother. So I actually was a mother in the movie, Breakthrough, prior to even being Kate, you know, with baby Jack. And so it was really cool that Joyce and that experience of the movie informed, of course, me as an actress for this incredible storyline with little baby Jack. So it's kind of amazing. Yeah. It did. It worked out. Yeah. Yes.
Thanks, Chrissy.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
DeVon, I saw something. I was looking. I thought this was really fascinating too. Talking about firsts. This is Steph Curry's first, from what I can tell, feature film as a producer. And I heard that you got him involved, or you reached out to him, or sent him something. I don't know if that was true. It was on the internet. So I'm wondering.
Can't believe everything you read on the internet.
That's precisely why I want to get the facts straight here. Yes. I'm just curious if you had any conversation with him, or if you were responsible for getting him involved in the project, and where that came from, and why you thought Steph would be into this.
Yeah, you know, I mean, the whole goal as a producer is to put together a great team. So, you know, like, I mean, I found the story, but whatever, that's nothing. You got to have a great director. You got to have great talent. And so I met with Stephen, and he really wanted to get into film. And so I was like, and he told me what he wanted to do. And I've been in entertainment for over 20 years. And I said, hey, man, look, you know, read the script. If you want to come on board, this would be a great first opportunity for you to kind of learn the ropes, see how this works, what it means to, you know, be involved and be on the producerial side. So he read the script in a day. And he was like, yo, I'm in. I love this story. It's so powerful. It's so emotional. He said he just couldn't stop turning the pages. And so I made him an executive producer on the film, and he's been such a great team member. You know, it's like the same way he's built an all-star team with the Warriors. I'm like, let's build an all-star breakthrough team. And his involvement is fantastic. He's really helped amplify the message, and it's very, very helpful as we all partner together and put our powers together to hopefully break through at the box office this Easter. You know, come on, let's do it. Why not? You know?
Why not?
No, why not? Why not? You know, so it's grateful that we could all partner together to make that happen.
That's awesome, man. Well, you for sure have put together a fantastic, astounding team, and you guys have made a great movie. You should be very proud. We got some questions in the audience, which is why it sounds like I'm wrapping up. We've still got a minute, but I want to make sure we've got plenty of time for audience questions. Luke, how many I got out there? I got at least 4. Fantastic. All right, so we got mics. Let's go ahead. First one, I think, is going to be right here.
Hi, everyone. How are you?
Hi.
I want to say that this movie is a testament to what crazy, unshakable, miraculous faith in God can do. And with that said, what is your very first encounter that you can think back to where you had to have faith, and that type of faith that you had, you knew that only God could do it for you?
Wow. I mean, well, okay, so the first one that comes to mind, so I grew up in Northern California, and the church that we were raised in is still in East Oakland. And so, you know, this is my teenage years. We were out in the neighborhood passing out flyers. A group of, like rogue pit bulls start chasing me and the group. There's about 5 of us. Long story short, everybody ends up going different directions. They end up chasing me. So I run around a car. I'm hoping that they stop. They don't. And I go across this intersection. So in the middle of the intersection, there's like a island. And so I run across the street, and I'm hoping the car will hit them. They don't. So we get to the island. I can't get across the other side of the street because if I do, the cars are going to hit me. So I stop in the island, and I just put my hands up, and I say, thank you, Jesus, thank you, Jesus, thank you, Jesus. The pit bulls come right up to me. They don't bark. They don't jump on me. They're completely silent. The owner catches up by that point in time, and they walk away.
Wow.
That was the first time I said, okay, all right, Lord, whatever you want from me, you got it. Because there was nothing but his power that saved me in that moment. Because you know pit bulls. Yeah. I mean, I could be mauled and be still dealing with that. But it was just a blessing in that moment that didn't happen. And that was the first experience I can remember.
Thank you.
Yeah.
God, all right, Roxann, go ahead and top that.
I know.
Do I know you?
Yes, you do.
I have no pit bull story.
You met Pitbull, the artist, once,
Yeah.
and that was something. That was
No, I mean, it's a less interesting story, but also a story that you talk about hearing voices and something in you listening to your gut. And I was living in New York at the time, but visiting my parents who lived in Los Angeles and driving my father's car, which is a Mercedes. And I drove it into his driveway, which is on the side of the house, and got all the way into the garage. The door lifts up. And all of a sudden, you know, there's a light at the edge of the driveway. Somebody's approaching me, but totally backlit. I can't see who it is. And they're saying, just give me the keys, just give me the keys. You know, and I'm thinking, you know, this doesn't sound right. I don't know the person. I don't think I know the person, but I'm not sure. And rather than stand there, something in me told me to run towards him and like freak out. And so I just kind of ran towards him and began to warn my parents that were inside the house that there was something. And I saw that he had a gun, but I didn't know what it was. It ended up, he ended up backing away because he was so shocked at my attitude. And got into the car that was waiting in the street, and a neighbor just happened to take down the license plate. She was walking her dog and hid in the bushes. And they ended up finding him. It was an Uzi, so that wasn't gonna miss me. It was an Uzi.
I got a pit bull story, but you got a Uzi story. Do I know you?
We're all learning about each other today. But I ended up going to court, and they got the guy because they went to another house, and they actually tied up the family, stole stuff. They found the jewelry from that house in this guy's apartment, and because they had the license plate from the neighbor lady that was watching. And but that was an odd reaction. I didn't know what propelled me to take that response. But it obviously, I felt in that moment almost like somebody just went like that, like just pushed me towards that person, which was like so not logical, but yet it shocked him and forced him to run away. So isn't that crazy?
All right, I take back what I said.
Okay, Chrissy.
Chrissy.
First of all, I should have gone first.
Next time I'm going first. I absolutely do not know you.
Just tell your Oprah story. Just tell your Oprah story, and that's all you can do.
I do a sort of interesting story. So my best friend Kristen and I, we used to drive up to Georgia for Crystal Burgers. Yeah, I know. Don't judge me. And this was when Blockbuster was around. Do you guys remember that? So we had to return our tape or VHS because my mom's like, you will not pay a late fee. Like, you will be in trouble, and if I have to own this VHS, I'm going to be mad. So we were about to get on to the interstate, and I was like, oh, the Blockbuster movie. And she's like, oh, who cares about it? It's like $3.95. Who cares? And I'm like, no, we like have to go get it. And she's like, Chrissy, I'm not going back. I'm like, you have to turn around. Like, something like made me, aside from the fear of my mother, but I was like, something made me go back and get that movie. And not 5 minutes later was there like a 15-car pile up with like probably 10 casualties that we would have been in for certain if it wasn't for that Blockbuster. And so not as exciting.
Still, that's
as
powerful.
these
Pitbull,
stories,
Uzi, Blockbuster.
But right. Okay, that's our next film. Okay.
What people don't know, that Blockbuster managed by Pitbulls. So it all.
There you have it, folks.
Yeah, there it is. It's all full circle.
Yeah.
Great question. We've got time for a few more. The next one, right here. Go for it, sir.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Chrissy, you're beautiful, insanely talented, and I love what you stand for. I've had the good fortune of having DeVon Franklin change my life in many ways, and I wanted to know how working with him has changed yours.
Wow. You gotta make me emotional right here. In so many, many ways, and it's still happening. I mean, DeVon doesn't just talk about it, he is about it, and it's in everything that he does, and the way that he looks at you, the way he speaks to anyone, and as I said, like, he is, of course, somebody who has given me this incredible opportunity and believed in me, but also continues to support me, and not only in a professional sense, but in a personal sense as a friend and like a big brother. And I constantly is teaching me so many things. It's very exciting. I'm super grateful. So in so many, in every way. Yeah, so many ways.
It's a great question.
It's true.
Is there dust in the...
Just cutting onions. We've got, was it two more? We're going to do two more questions. Next one right here. Go for it.
Hi.
So first, I just want to say thank you for making this movie. I grew up Christian, Coptic Orthodox, and in my church we have a lot of miracles, and they usually go unsaid. So I like that there is something that's going to be more mainstream, more available to other people, not just within my community. So I just want to say thank you for that. And also, I just wanted to ask, a more like lighthearted question. So, Chrissy, for like other women, like other fat women, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to. First of all, we don't see each other. We don't see representation that often, right? So first, I just want to say thank you for being that for so many of us. And also, I wanted to ask where you get your outfits from, because I need to step up my game and reach you, because I'm obsessed.
I'm happy to tell you. It's interesting. I even just saying the word fat, I think some people are like, I saw that, right? And it's because we've given it power in this negative sense. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean that's what we are. It's a part of us. It's not all that we are. And so even saying that, I'm so glad that you did, because it's like, I'm so afraid of that word. Yeah. But it's not everything that I am, that we are, that you are. And this dress is from Eloquy. And I love them because it's cute, it's on trend, but it's also, just because you're a different size doesn't mean you don't want to be cute. Yeah. And I think that's super important. It's just a little more fabric. Mm-hmm. Or maybe it's cut a little different, Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I appreciate your question. And there's a website you can go on. I don't know about brick and mortar stores, but I have worn them so often because they just have cute stuff.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Of course.
You always have the cutest stuff. That you're just as much fun to follow on social as you are to watch on TV, because your choices are always so much fun, and you always look amazing.
Oh, well, checks in the mail. Thanks. I was like, make sure you say that at the end.
We're gonna do one more. Fantastic. Let's get one more question in before we wrap things up.
Hi, everyone. I can't believe I'm actually nervous. My name is Glory, and my question's for you, Devon. I hope I said that right. I'm Dominican, so I have an accent. My best friend actually pulled me to come here today, and I wanted to ask, putting this film together and working with so many people and being so inspiring, when you came up with this vision for this film, did you know who you wanted to like work with or cast? And in the past or moving on in the future, how do you know who you want to work with? Because I feel like spirituality is a big part of your life, and you encounter a lot of personalities. So I guess it's just interesting to see, how do you know who you want to work with and collaborate with? You're sharing energy.
Yeah, for me, it's all about, like with this is a true story. So the number one thing is to listen. I'm always listening. And I don't say this, just because it's convenient. I really am serious. Like, I listen to God. Like, okay, God, what is the right way to do this? Because first, as Chrissy mentioned earlier, for all of us, it's a movie for us, but for the Smith family, this is their life. So whenever I'm doing a true story, I just try to listen and be open to the process. If we all commit to the process, we're guaranteed we're going to have the best the process will deliver. But sometimes if we come into this with a different agenda about what we want, we can disrupt what the process is trying to deliver. So for me, I commit to the process. And part of that process is saying, I don't know when I first found the story. I don't know who the director is. At that point, I didn't know who the star was. My first order of business was to work on the script with our incredible screenwriter, Grant Nieporte. Once we did that, I sent out the script to a wide variety of directors, committing to the process. Roxann walks in. The moment she starts talking about the power of love and, her children and how she relates to the movie, she had a whole lookbook. I didn't even worry about the lookbook because she had a personal connection to the material. So it was clear she was the director. So now if I went and said, oh, I want to work with this director, it has to be this person, I would have missed out on the director because she was already the director. All I had to do was commit to the process, and she walks in the door. Chrissy, by that point in time, we knew this had to be Chrissy because there was nobody else who could embody the power of Joyce. And the studio said, if you get her, you got a movie. If you don't, we're not making your movie. Little incentive. Again, the process. So again, it wasn't like, oh, I want to work. I want to do right by the story. So committing to the process has allowed us. This movie is the result of process. And I think so often we want the results so fast that we rush our own process in life. And when anyone sees this, I want everyone to say, okay, let me just commit to the process. Chrissy has a powerful scene. It ended the trailer that you all saw. Powerful. Every time we see it, we cry. It was the last scene that we shot, that Roxann directed on set, where she has to surrender. She has to surrender over John to God. Whatever your will is, Lord, I surrender. When we surrender to the process, we are guaranteed to get the very best. When we don't, we're going to be struggling, we're going to be frustrated, we're going to be angry, we're going to be mad. There were difficult days on set, but because we were committed to the process, it was never difficulty where it broke relationship. All of us are as close to now as we were when we made the film, and there were a lot of challenges, but we put the process first. And as a result, we have a great film, and a film that I believe will continue to model that.
Great. My friend Luke here has given me the signal. We're going to wrap things up. But I want to thank you guys, one, for being an amazing audience, and two, asking such wonderful questions. That was great. Fantastic. And remind the world, Breakthrough, Easter. This is the movie you're going to go watch. I'm telling you right now, there's no other movie to go see that come this Easter. It's fantastic. You're fantastic. All of you have done a wonderful job. You should be very proud. Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in at home. One more time, everybody in this room, make as much noise as you can. Thank Chrissy Metz, Roxann Dawson, and DeVon Franklin right here.